Welcome back to the Teach for the Heart podcast, where we tackle teaching challenges from a biblical perspective. Why are we here? Because we don't believe that our spiritual walk and teaching profession should exist in two separate domains. Rather, the hope we have in Christ should change how we approach everything, not just at home, but at school as well. So join us as we explore both the spiritual and practical side of key teaching challenges, integrating them together so we can succeed at teaching, glorify God, and make a lasting difference in your students' hearts and lives. This episode is brought to you in partnership with the Herzog Foundation. I don't have to tell you that the end of the year can be a bit of a struggle, right? It can be really hard to make it over that finish line in the last days. And sometimes, it's all we can do to get to that finish line that we can struggle to come up with any fresh ideas. So what we wanted to do was we actually talked with our audience and got a lot of ideas from our Facebook group, which if you're not in our Facebook group, it's a great group. You can go to teachfortheheart.com/Facebook to join it. But we have compiled a whole bunch of ideas of things that you could do the last day or two of school to kind of finish up the year well. And this is just a variety of ideas. Some are more academic, some are more fun. But I hope that this gives you some ideas if you're really not sure what to do with those last few days and you want to make them count and make them meaningful and have some enjoyment and closure to your year as well. So here are some ideas. First of all, these come from Jenny and Debbie. You can have your class help pack up your room. Some ideas for how to do this. You can put them in groups and assign them tasks. They can clean desks, Chromebook screens, label classroom furniture. If they finish, you might have a packet of, fun papers for them to work on, but having students help you can really, really be a great way to do this. And there's all kinds of ways to do this. I think my recommendation would be to save this, though, for as close to the end of the year as possible. If you take down your class too early, it is really a symbol to everybody to check out. But if you have your whole class helping you, or, in middle school, high school, you have, your whole class for a couple subjects helping you, you can really get a lot done very, very quickly. So I encourage you to go ahead and let your class help you rather than doing it all on your own. This example is from Marianne, and her ideas and her examples in here are clearly for younger students, but this could be adapted to older students as well. So she says the last 10 days of school, she takes balloons and puts the name of an activity inside the balloon and then blows them up. Okay. And so each day, the last 10 days, students pop a balloon and there's something special to do inside. So her examples are have a picnic, play with bubbles, chalk outside. And those are all great ideas. So you could definitely do that with older kids and just have kind of a variety of fun or interesting things to do with your class on the last 10 days of school. Or if you say 10 is way too much, you could do 3 or 5. By the way, just listening to her idea gave me an idea. She mentioned chalk outside. What a great idea for honestly any age group is to take sidewalk chalk and have students visualize something you learned that year on the sidewalk of the school. Of course, get permission about this first, but that could be a really fun outdoor activity that you could do that could also be meaningful, especially if you're giving them kind of maybe splitting them up in groups and giving them something specific to illustrate. That could be really, really fun. And by the way, before I go any further, I hope that you guys, as you're listening, are doing what I just did as I was talking here, right? Some of these ideas you might be like, I love that idea. I'm doing it exactly as described. But other ideas might give you a different idea or a spin-off idea. And that's what's so great about discussing ideas. So definitely don't just think about the idea, think about what else pops in your mind as well. Anna C. gave us a few great ideas. She talked about having board game centers where students rotate through playing different board games. That's a really great alternative to simply just having games out and saying play something, because sometimes then students don't know what to do. They feel like they don't want to, but kind of splitting them up into groups and having them take a certain amount of time at each center is a really great twist on that. Her other idea is to have students write letters to the incoming class, sharing some important things to know about that grade. And I think this is valuable for 2 reasons. One, it gives you a fun thing to give the students the next year with that advice, but it also is a great way for them to stop and reflect on all they've learned and how far they've come throughout the year. Her idea reminded me of one idea that my 6th grade teacher actually did that I thought was so meaningful. She passed around a sheet of paper with the name of every student in the class. And she had us write one thing that we admired about every single person on that sheet of paper. And then she actually took them and just typed them up for each person. So you didn't get to see everybody else's, but you got a slip of paper with your name on it and everything that all your classmates said about you. And I have to say, that was in my wallet for years. It was really, really meaningful. Lisa W. has this fun idea: have a superhero summer birthday party for all the students with summer birthdays. Carly's idea is to write a letter to your class and read it to them. She says this is a great opportunity to reflect on the year or the semester and encourage them as you wrap everything up. And Carly actually taught high school and said this was great with high schoolers even. So I do think that this idea can apply all up and down the spectrum. And this is just a great opportunity to say what's on your heart, or to really say something, impactful that you might not have had opportunity to say other places. Here's some other ideas. Take whatever you are doing with your students outside. I did this a lot in the maybe not necessarily the last couple days, but the days leading up, where people want to be outside. I'd say, okay, let's take, this activity that we're doing or this worksheet that we're practicing, our practice work, and we're just going to do it outside. Not everything on your lesson plan lends itself to that, but just simply ask, could we do this outside? And if so, take it outside. Oh, I love this idea. Have students make fun review quizzes or Kahoots for next year's students. So having students make, so this could be as low tech or high tech as you want. So, making Kahoot quizzes, you could even assign, make it over this section, make it over this section. That's a great review activity for the students, but also might result in something you can use for next year. But you could also go low tech and have them make flashcards or other review materials. For older kids, have students make a Google escape room, then have them participate it in the next day. That can be really fun. You can make a Google form escape room or a scavenger hunt as well, based on your class content. This is a really simple idea, but can be really powerful and worthwhile. Have students give a 1-minute presentation on topics from your class. So just 1 minute, not super overwhelming, but a great way to kind of review and put a capstone on everything. You could have your students share their favorite memory from the class. And you could do this kind of extemporaneously, but if I were doing this, I would have everybody write down a favorite memory first, and then you can kind of go around and have people either read or share their idea. Another fun thing to do is to give out class awards to your students. So in other words, you might kind of think what's something that you admire, something you appreciate, or something unique about each student, and give out kind of an award that acknowledges what's unique about each student. This episode is brought to you in partnership with the Herzog Foundation. Herzog believes that teachers are the heartbeat of schools and role models to future leaders. And in June, they're going to be hosting Making a Leap, a teacher symposium at Wheaton College, Illinois. They'll be exploring questions, concerns, and myths around Christian education. They'll be looking into things like reclaiming faith and freedom in the classroom, how to launch your own Christian school, and so much more. So if you're thinking about making the leap into Christian education, check out this 2-day event. You can get all the details. We'll link to them at teachfortheheart.com/leap. And now back to the show. This next idea is a bit more involved. So this is not an idea to do, in 40 minutes the last day of school. This is something more if you want to do kind of like a capstone project for the year, or if you have a few days with an elementary class or multiple class periods with a secondary class. And that is to have your students create an educational video about what they're doing. So a project like this will really get their creative juices flowing. It'll help them better understand the topic, have some fun. And honestly, it's not a lot of work for you as the teacher. It really is a fantastic end of year review. And you could even plan a viewing party on the last day where you watch everybody's video that they made. So I'm going to go through this idea in a little bit more detail because it has a little bit of complexity to it. But not a lot for you on the teacher, which is great. And before I get too far into this, let me say that this idea is not just for high school students. My own elementary age children, even my first grader knows how to operate an iPad, like the video feature on an iPad or an iPhone. So younger kids definitely have the capability of shooting and putting together a video skit. So don't think this has to be super high tech. This can be fairly low tech and fairly simple. So first thing, you need to choose the prompt. So you need to decide what the basic idea of their video would be. I don't recommend just saying, make a video. This is going to depend on your subject and the age, but here's a few ideas of something you could do. So you could have them reenact a historical event or reenact a scene from a book you've been studying. They could show how a historic figure or a figure from a book might have handled themselves in modern times. They could create a video that explains how a specific topic works. So this is great for like math or science. This is a really simple one. Have them pretend they're the teacher and explain a topic to the class. They could make their own exercise video for something like PE. If you're a foreign language teacher, they could create a scene in that language. So much that you can do. And it's obviously up to you if every student is doing their own video, if you have groups of 2 or 3 or 4, it can really be up to you. So first, you're going to choose the prompt, and then it's a great idea to make a list of topic choices. So once you have the prompt, you can create a list of topic choices for students to choose from. So for example, if your prompt is to reenact a historical event, you could create a list of events that they might choose from what you've studied. Okay. And then once again, keep in mind, if you do have everyone watch these together, this is a great end of the year review. So if you choose topics that you've studied or touched on, then you don't want to have give the same topic to multiple students. So you might have them pick, and then, once 1 or 2 choose it, then people might have to pick a different topic. So far you've chosen the prompt, you've made a list of the topics, then you simply explain the parameters. So give them really clear instructions about how long the video was. If you don't want it to be 10 minutes, say it has to be this long. And then just consider, do you want them to do it by themselves? Are they collaborating with classmates? Are they allowed to have other people in their video? Kind of give some clarity for that. Number 4, give them time to work on the video, right? And check in periodically with them. So giving them time to work on in class is what I'm assuming. You can kind of decide, am I going to give them enough that they only need to work on it in class, or is it something where they're expected to work on it out of class? And then, of course, you can watch the videos together, and you can even do things like giving, Academy Awards for the most creative video, or the most well-produced video, or the most academically impressive video, or the most entertaining video. You could even give a best of show. So this could be something really fun that you can do together with your students at the end of the year. And one final idea, if there's been any type of technology or new tool or idea that you've been wanting to try out but haven't been able to fit in or kind of nervous about, the last couple days of school can be a great time to just try it out. There's low pressure. If it doesn't go off, that's okay. So this can also be a great time to experiment and just try something new. I hope that between all of these ideas, you've gotten some ideas for what you might be able to do in those last few days of school. If you have additional ideas, we'd love to hear what you like to do at the end of school or what you're planning to do. So all of these ideas are going to be compiled in a list, and then please feel free to add yours in the comments at teachfortheheart.com/311. That's teachfortheheart.com/311. Before we go, I do want to also let you know that our planner, Pray and Plan, is available. If you haven't checked out Pray and Plan yet, Pray and Plan is our planner designed for Christian teachers. It integrates faith and planning together so that you can remember to keep God at the center of your planning. And we have so many brand new versions that you're going to want to check out for this year. You can get all the details at teachfortheheart.com/planner. And with summer right around the corner, we also want to invite you to do one of our professional development courses over the summer. So if you've been wanting help with classroom management or time management or engaging your students better and motivating them, summer is the great time to actually be able to sit down and go through a course and get these ideas and solutions that you need. So if you go to teachfortheheart.com and click the shop button at the top of the page, you can check out all of our courses that are available for you to do this summer. There's also one special course happening in the month of July, and that is called Your Smooth Running Class. And it is designed to help you step by step, along with a group of teachers, go through and actually create a classroom management plan that works so you can reduce disruptions, start the school year right, and be able to have that calm classroom where you can actually teach and actually do the things that make learning fun. So if you want to check out your Smooth Running class, go to teachfortheheart.com/smooth. That's teachfortheheart.com/smooth to get all of that information. Once again, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with the Herzog Foundation. Of course, the views and opinions are my own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Herzog Foundation. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. In the meantime, teacher, remember, God is at work in you and through you, and He's using you to make a difference. Keep your eyes on Him and teach for the heart.